Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that jobs no longer exist. No office, no deadlines, no paycheck, no career. You open your eyes as the morning sun spills across the landscape. For the first time in your life, there is nowhere you have to be. What would you do? That question sounds strange today, but for almost all of human history, it was completely normal. For nearly 300,000 years, humans lived without employers, schedules, or resumes. There was no such thing as, what do you do for a living? Because living itself was what people did. And surprisingly, life wasn't the endless struggle most people imagine. In fact, many ancient humans may have had more free time than you do. Think about that. The average modern worker spends tens of thousands of hours answering emails, attending meetings, commuting, and chasing promotions. Your ancestors spent their time very differently. They hunted when food was needed, gathered fruits when they were in season, built shelters together, raised children together, and when those tasks were finished, they stopped. No overtime, no side hustle, no notifications demanding attention. Just time. Time to talk, time to laugh, time to create, time to simply exist. Archaeologists have uncovered cave paintings over 30,000 years old that are so beautiful they still amaze us today. These paintings weren't made by people fighting for survival every second. They were made by people who had enough freedom to create art, enough freedom to imagine, enough freedom to dream. And it wasn't just art. Ancient humans made jewelry from shells, carved musical instruments from bone, decorated tools with intricate patterns. Long before cities existed, people were already searching for beauty. Because humans don't just survive. Humans create. Picture a typical afternoon. The hunt is over. Food has been shared. Children are playing nearby. A small group sits around a fire, repairing tools and telling stories. Nobody is checking the time. Nobody is worried about Monday morning. The rhythm of life is set by nature itself. The rising sun, the changing seasons, the movement of animals. For thousands of generations, this was normal. Then, something happened that changed everything. Around 10,000 years ago, humans began farming. At first, it seemed like a brilliant idea. Grow food in one place, stay close to home, feed more people. But farming came with a hidden cost. Fields needed constant attention. Crops had to be protected. Food had to be stored. Property had to be defended. And slowly, the amount of work increased. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. Cities created governments, taxes, armies, and eventually jobs. For the first time, large numbers of humans began trading their time for resources. The system that created civilization also created schedules, deadlines, responsibilities, and eventually the modern workday. Today, most people spend their lives preparing for a future moment when they can finally relax. But your ancient ancestors didn't postpone life. They lived it every day. Of course, their world wasn't perfect. There was danger, disease, harsh winters, uncertainty. Yet they possessed something many people desperately search for today, a direct connection between effort and meaning. When they worked, they knew exactly why. When they rested, they truly rested. When they gathered around a fire, they weren't distracted by 1,000 other things. They were present. Maybe that's the lesson hidden in humanity's distant past. Not that we should abandon modern life. Not that civilization was a mistake. But that somewhere along the way, many of us forgot what all this work was supposed to be for. Our ancestors didn't measure life by productivity. They measured it by connection. Connection to nature. Family connection. Connection to community. And perhaps the greatest irony of all is this, the life many people dream about after retirement. More freedom. More time. more meaningful relationships, less stress, is surprisingly similar to the way humans lived for most of our existence. Maybe progress isn't just about building a better future. Maybe it's also about remembering what made life worth living in the first place.